Xbox has led the way when it comes to smart delivery with cross-generational games, but there is a concerning trend starting to happen with other companies. So last week, with the announcement of Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut, they announced some new DLC that was coming out, as well as some specific PlayStation 5 upgrades. And there was a lot of negativity and uproar about the pricing of this version of the game. I didn't fully look into it. I wasn't 100% sure what all the fuss was about. But after reading this opinion piece from Adam Vestica, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, on TechWriter, it did a great breakdown of how all of this worked and really shows just kind of how bad the pricing is for PlayStation users and how this is completely different from the way that Xbox is going about upgrading games to next generation versions with smart delivery. So with Ghost of Tsushima right now, if you haven't heard, they are releasing the director's cut, and this director's cut thing seems to be now the new game of the year or ultimate edition or whatever you want to call it of PlayStation games when they get re-released like a year or so after their original release with additional content and upgrades. And this Ghost of Tsushima director's cut is going to be coming with some PlayStation 5 exclusive features. So you're going to get PS5 3D audio, support for the DualSense controller's haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, target at 4K resolution, 60 frames per second, and Japanese lip sync, which I guess wasn't there in the original version. Now, on top of those PS5 features, it also includes every additional piece of content that Sucker Punch has created with Ghost of Tsushima, and it's going to have a brand new separate adventure in the form of Iki Island. Now, here is the problem with this. It's not that they're releasing a director's cut. It's not that they're giving brand new features to the game. I mean, that's all great stuff. It is the fact with the pricing of these games, there is different pricing between the PS4 and the PS5 version. And if you have the PS5 version, you're paying $10 extra just for these features that were mentioned here, just like the basic upgrades that you get on a lot of these cross-generational games are getting those next-gen upgrades. So for the director's cut on PS4, it's $60, so this is all in US dollars, and for PS5, it is $70. And again, that $70 standard price now for PlayStation 5 games is coming into effect. We're going to be seeing that throughout this entire generation, especially for the first-party PlayStation games, because PlayStation wants you to believe that when you are paying that $70 for a PlayStation game, you are doing it because you're getting the most premium video game around. Now, if you actually already own the game, you will be paying $20 to upgrade it to the director's cut version on the PS4 and $30 to do this on the PlayStation 5. But you can't just go ahead and purchase the DLC on its own, meaning that that extra $10 on the PS5 version is because of these features here. And that's a big issue for a lot of people. Before I had looked into it, I thought people were just kind of complaining like they always do, but now that I'm looking into it, it is an issue for sure. It's very annoying, especially when you see just kind of the pro-consumer stuff that Xbox is doing, because they aren't even giving you the option to go ahead and just purchase the DLC. If you want to, you have to pay that extra $30 to get all of the PS5 stuff. And this article does a great job of outlining what Xbox has done in the past. So if you remember with Gears 5, when Gears 5 came out on the Xbox Series X and S, there were a ton of updates that came to it. So there was a graphical overhaul, there was 120 FPS in multiplayer, improved shadows, increased details, all this kind of stuff in the game looked absolutely incredible on the Xbox Series X. And then a couple of months later, they released a separate DLC, which was Hivebusters, and that came free to everybody who is subscribed to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. But if you weren't subscribed and you still wanted to play Hivebusters, you would get all of the additional next generation upgrades for free, but then ahead and you can go and pay an additional $20 to access and play Hivebusters. And that's wherein lies the problem with Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, is that they're not giving you that ability to just go ahead and purchase the additional DLC. If you don't care about all the additional PS5 upgrades, you just want to play more of the game, get some more content, you're going to have to go ahead and pay that full $30. And Xbox has been doing this with not just Gears. I mean, they've been doing it with pretty much all of their games that are getting the next generation upgrade. There's a list of games like Forza, Halo Master Chief Collection, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Minecraft Dungeons, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I mean, it goes on and on. And since the beginning of this generation, Xbox has been extremely consumer friendly with cross-generational games, with smart delivery, making sure that if you have that game on your Xbox One, you're going to get the free upgrade to the next generation consoles for no cost. It's all coming for free. And we're even seeing a game like Metro Exodus that just got a next generation upgrade, and they gave it to everybody for free. This wasn't something you had to pay extra for. This wasn't something that you had to add that premium price just because you're getting it on the next generation version. I mean, the next gen version upgrades have been great, but in reality, are they really worth an extra money if you've already played and beat the game just to get an FPS boost and the upgrades in resolution? For some people, yes, but for the majority of people, they've already played through the game. There definitely should not be an extra charge for those quality of life next gen upgrades. And there's an even example here that Nintendo is kind of doing the same thing as PlayStation, where they are locking fast travel in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD behind the amiibo, which that is absolutely absurd. So all of this is a concerning trend right now, I guess, unless you're on the Xbox ecosystem and the Xbox platform, because we are also even seeing this, which is again absolutely ridiculous, where FIFA 22, they put out their reveal trailer. It was just another one of those EA trailers. The game's probably going to be very similar to last year. There's going to be very little additions to the gameplay, and you're going to be pretty much playing a game with a roster update and paying full price for it. But with FIFA 22, the standard edition, if you're just going ahead and buying the $60 version, you're not going to be able to get the next generation upgrade if you buy it, let's say, on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. Then a couple of months later, you go out and buy a Series X or a PlayStation 5. You're not going to get that free upgrade like they did with FIFA 21. In order to get that free upgrade, you have to go ahead and spend $100 on the Ultimate Edition of FIFA, which is just absolutely crazy. And it's just very anti-consumer in the practice, especially after FIFA 21. They gave you the dual entitlement with the upgrade and everything, even if the fact that they did that was because the next generation consoles came out a couple of months after the game was released. And you think about FIFA, I think they're doing this as well for Madden, which again sucks, but you think about these games, it's FIFA 22 and Madden 22. This is going to be coming out pretty much a year after these next gen, which are now the current gen consoles, have been released. And the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One are going to be relevant for the next 2-3 years probably. I mean, people don't always upgrade right away in the first couple of years that these consoles are out. They wait until there's sales, they wait until there's bundles, they wait until everything has been worked out with them before they purchase them. So you can expect to see this type of stuff unless people don't purchase it, unless people don't play the games because of it for the next couple of years. All of this is not to really trash on PlayStation, not to trash on EA, although I do think these practices are very anti-consumer, especially when you're comparing it to Microsoft and Xbox. And at the end of the day, these are all just big corporations, and I'm not trying to just defend a big corporation and say that it is the best thing in the world, but when you see a big corporation do pro-consumer things, I think that's the corporation that you should support. And the reason that Xbox can do these pro-consumer things is because they have advanced their business model when it comes to video games. They have grown and they have created this ecosystem where their goal is to grow Game Pass and the subscribers on that service. So these type of things that PlayStation is doing is because of their business model, and it is because they are locking people into a console on PlayStation 5 and then pushing their software on that console. And to me, going forward, you're going to see PlayStation not stay with this business model. They're going to continue to follow the trend of what Microsoft is doing with Xbox Game Pass, so then that they don't have to do these types of things. They need to find ways to make more money off of their current user base with the PlayStation 5 because of the business model and because of the fact there is that chip shortage, and they aren't able to create as many PlayStation 5s as possible right now, where Xbox doesn't have to worry about that as much because of their ecosystem. Right now, there's a chip shortage and the Xbox Series X in particular isn't vastly available. They're even taking the Xbox Series X's that they make and putting them into their server stack on xCloud, and they can do that because of their ecosystem. They know that they're still going to be able to make money off of subscribers off of Xbox Game Pass. So that's what's going on here, in my opinion, is that PlayStation needs to continue to make money somehow, and they're going to do this by adding these additional costs to their user base, because their user bases are still going to go out and buy them. They know that there's going to be backlash like this, but unless people don't buy these copies of the game, unless people don't spend that extra $10 for those PlayStation 5 features, this is going to continue. And in my opinion, in the video game industry, it is a concerning trend. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut and the overall strategy when comparing it to Xbox's strategy and the Xbox ecosystem. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you like what you see throughout this video, I'd really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button to help this channel grow and help grow this community so we can have great conversations in the comments below. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.